Hi, everybody. I'm good old JR Jim Ross, WW Hall of Famer. And remember, folks, not only does Slobber Knockers matter, not only does my podcast matter, but by golly, Sports Matters TV.
Welcome to Sports Matters TV, brought to you by the Macau Sporting Club and in association with Shooter Snooker and Pool Blackpool, and filmed by Deep Red Productions. Okay, welcome to Sports Matters TV. We're in Limerick. It's great to get to Limerick because we're always normally in Cork or across in the States. I'm joined by a true legend, a childhood hero of mine as well. One of the greatest commentators of our time, Mr. Jim Ross. Welcome to Ireland, first of all.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Sorry about your pants.
Yeah, I know. It's the style these days. Yeah. I'm 30 years of age. And
tough on you kids. I get it. But I'm glad to be with you.
Yeah, appreciate it. You've had a great tour so far from what we've seen. What's it like to be in the UK and Ireland, first of all?
It's always good. You know, I say, I've often said, to come here is good because we all speak English.
Yeah.
But what I forget sometimes, we all speak different styles of English.
We do.
So when you go through I do this meet and greet before the show. I love doing those and meet all the fans that are there, and they tell you their names so you can sign their book, book, or Slobber Knocker, or they can sign up or sign a picture, whatever.
Yeah. And
I've had some really interesting interactions with fans this week, having to spell their name to me like 3 or 4 times, especially in Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah. What's your name? Arr. Oh, yeah, I got that. Was it arr or arr? And then I had another guy I was trying to interpret. He was more worthless than me. So we've had some fun with names. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, they're all spelled correctly. The fans are respected as they should be, and I love meeting them.
It's always great. We've seen all the pictures on Inside the Ropes. A lot of happy fans, which is great to see. You said you were in Ireland a couple of years back, or maybe.
Yeah,
what was it like to get back?
Well, it's great because I have a lot of. It's really funny how you connect with things. You know, I've hired some Irish guys. I've worked with Irish guys. They gush about their homeland and the beauty, and it's all true. But my link to Ireland is really funny. It's through John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara because they were in The Quiet Man. And The Quiet Man is my all-time favorite movie. Any movie ever made, John Wayne is my guy. Maureen O'Hara, I had my first boyhood crush on a celebrity, was Maureen O'Hara. So maybe that speaks to my incessant remarks about Becky Lynch's nice cheekbones.
Yeah.
At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks, for you. But the Innisfree and that whole thing just captured my imagination, and I've seen the movie probably 100 times. Yeah. My mom and dad loved it. My road producer Raphael lives in New York City. They used to air that movie every St. Patrick's Day at 3 o'clock on one of the big TV stations there. So that's my hook. I was in Ireland for WCW back in the late 80s or early 90s on a promotional tour. And I remember this, parts of it I remember, was being in Dublin on St. Patrick's Day.
Best time to be in Dublin.
Oh, man, and there's just no way you can drink all the beer. You tried. We tried to do all we could, but it was classic. It was a hell of a night.
Definitely. And speaking of Maureen O'Hara, she actually lived in Cork. She's passed away, but years and years ago, my mother actually met her in Glengarriff. That's where she spent a lot of time. She actually lived there.
Wow. And
she went for a meal one day, and she spotted Maureen, and she started to cry, my mother, because she remembers her from the films. And she was a lovely lady. Give her a signed picture. So it's a good connection there.
Above my fireplace in Oklahoma, in my home, my late wife she bought a lot of memorabilia, a lot of John Wayne stuff, but because of my love of the Irish produced Quiet Man, she got me a picture of Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne from the set of the film, and both of them signed it. Oh. So they were really
great value to that, definitely.
Yeah, it's really something special in my place. So it's a unique kinship to Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, a unique kinship to Ireland. You know, in Americanized Irish. I've always enjoyed and respected the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the kids. I hired Dave Finley. He was an Irish guy, and WCW closed, and he needed to work.
Yeah.
And so I gave him a job as an agent in WCW, and he's had it pretty much since. He had one little interruption there, but all those guys have great work ethics. Really good work ethics, and generally the guys that train wrestlers that are Irish are pretty tough dudes.
Definitely. Finley's a tough dude. He likes to break the thumb as well, the old thumb trick. Speaking of sports, one of our camera guys, Stephen, he's a massive fan of yours. He says, do you watch a lot of the Oklahoma football and do you keep an eye on all that amazing stuff happening your way?
Oh, yeah. Where my home's located is only 3 miles from the campus of Oklahoma University and the stadium. Yeah. And I've got season tickets. I got tickets in a suite. I got tickets on the field, but I'm normally a coach's guest on the sideline with a hat. They play a drinking game there. There's so much Oklahoma football on television in the States that there's a drinking game. So if you see JR's black hat, you take a shot. And I've retweeted some information like that, always with the asterisk saying, "Don't drink and drive," obviously. But it's a JR drinking game for that, the OU football. So I'm a football fan. Yeah. When you can live 3 miles from your favorite team, no matter what your team is, whether it's your football or their football or whatever, but whatever your team is, you can be that close to the action and then be invited by the head coach to be on the sideline during the games. It's pretty much a fan's dream come true.
Dream come true, definitely. Yeah. Now, Jim, roughly back to the wrestling. It's been around 20 years since you called that famous match between Mankind and the Undertaker. What was it like to witness that Hell in a Cell match and see Mick obviously get back up just about?
I think my verbiage and how it was delivered really best describes my feelings at that moment. Yeah. There's fear, there's shock, there's a certain amount of regret, because I had to work very diligently to get the blessing from the head man to hire Mick. Yeah. Because Mick had tried to go to work there 2 or 3 times back in the day before I got there, and it was unsuccessful. Yeah. So I was head of the talent roster. I was a talent relations guy. That was my day job. Yeah. And I seen one of my guys I lobbied hard to get hired, who's going to be a big star, I thought, and we saw then he was going to be, that we just lost him. And I didn't know how bad we had lost him. I didn't know we'd lost him in the shape of, obviously, the worst of all, fatality. Yeah. But I certainly thought he'll never be the same, because you can't do that bump. There's no way to practice it. Oh, there's a way to practice it, I guess. You'd be stupid to keep take another chance. Yeah. You don't learn that kind of stuff in wrestling school. He had an imagination and a courage, and he wanted to be different and set himself apart. He has. We're still talking about it 20 years later. So everything you heard from me was real and guttural, because I had no idea he was going to do it. Yeah. If I had known, I would certainly say, well, I kind of knew he was going to. I didn't have a clue. I didn't even know they were going to start the match on top of the cell. So I was thinking in my head as I'm calling it, just goes a unique way of starting it. So there was a method to the madness, obviously. Of course. And we were playing in a hockey rink, ice hockey rink. And so the ice is what broke his fall. He went over the top, through the announce table, the Spanish announce table, thank God, and the ice broke his fall. So I'm thinking, a normal human being cannot survive this. Yeah. And then we realized going forward that he didn't survive at all, but he certainly isn't normal. Yeah,
sounds like a Mick, all right. We seen as well that you mentioned like stars of the future, Will Ospreay. You reckon this guy is definitely perhaps the next big thing, given he's so young, and if he stays healthy, he'll have a long career.
Well, you just hit the key thing. If he stays healthy, and I have no doubts that Will Ospreay can be, at the end of the day, considered one of the very, very best in the entire world in any weight category, in any company. Yeah. But my fear is that if he continues to take unnecessary risk in his match, he's not going to ever be able to achieve that stardom, because he's going to end up like he fears now, much like Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid, in a wheelchair. Yeah. He can't take bumps like these kids are taking on inanimate surfaces, such as, they're all inanimate, but some are more friendly. Yeah. The middle of the ring is friendlier than a damn apron. The apron might as well fall on his floor. Yeah. And then they're taking bumps on the outside, like, oh, where we are, like so-and-so did it, so I got to do it. So I think it's monkey see, monkey do sometimes, or some of these young millennial type wrestlers are worried that selling makes them look weak. I understand. And they don't understand that selling is a dramatic art. Selling's like a key element. It's like playing European football.
Yeah.
But you can't kick. You're probably not going to play much, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the deal there. I think he's got great skills. He's got a wonderful imagination, the whole 9 yards. Just terrific. But I think that he's
got to play a safe.
He's got to be lucky. He's going to be lucky, is what I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I think he's got to be lucky to stay healthy.
Yeah. And last of all, do you reckon we're going to see Will, maybe Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in WWE in the future? Do you reckon that can happen?
I think it's inevitable. I think I used this illustration on the tour this week. That it's like if you're a young lad, and you've been playing football in this part of the world since you're a little wee guy, right? Your goal, probably one of your goals, is certainly going to be to get in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Bigger exposure, more money, and I think that the WWE is unparalleled in what they can pay.
Yeah.
When you get that in their system, their global footprint. This is many people know me in the UK and in Ireland and around this part of the world as I do in a state in the United States.
Yeah.
I've been on TV in both places for 20-something years. Like you said, you followed it for a while.
Yeah.
So you got that familiarity there, and so I got that thanks to WWE. I was in WCW before that, but they didn't have the footprint that Vince has created.
Yeah.
So I think all those guys are creative, artistic guys, very talented. That can make a lot of money wherever they work. But if you're in it for the money, that's what you want to do. So good kids. My podcast is coming up. I got Kenny Omega on my podcast this week and next week, 2-parter. He's phenomenal. Wherever you get your podcast, free, by the way.
Yeah.
Price is right. The Jim Ross Report. Hope you check it out. But I'm excited. I'm excited to go to the Quiet Man facility and have lunch and take the tour
nice.
Like a little kid. It's a big deal for me. And then we'll finish her off on Saturday night in Galway before we drive another drive to where are we going? We're going to do Dublin.
Dublin, yeah.
Just fly only a 9-hour flight home.
Not too bad.
Oh yeah, the travel's just not good. That's not good. But when I get here, I have a great time. Just like this week, every show's been good. It's been fun. So, but I appreciate you taking time to visit with me.
Jim, it's an honor as always, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.